boys and girls. Today we're going to read a nursery rhyme. And sometimes nursery rhymes are made into books, and that's what we have here. Just like when we read the Eensy Weensy Spider. So if you look, it's called Baa Baa Black Sheep. And one of the lines in this book is, Baa Baa Black Sheep, have you any wool? And maybe you don't know this, but if you can see, this sheep has all this yarn. And the sheep's got this woolly fleece. That is what wool is. It's actually the hair that grows on a sheep. And you take that hair and you shave it off, and then it gets washed. And then they do this process called carding. They have these two what look like hair brushes with wire bristles that stick out, and they'll go like this back and forth with those two brushes, and they'll comb out the sheep's wool until it's in sort of like a long, fluffy, cottony looking thing. And then once it dries, they spin it and make it into yarn using, well, in the old days they used to use something called a spinning wheel, and you may have heard an old fairy tale story where they had a spinning wheel. And those spinning wheels will twist that fiber, the wool off of the sheep. It'll twist it and turn it into yarn, and then you can knit it or crochet it into a shirt or a hat or a sweater. So I always think that's really cool that we take the fur that's on the sheep and turn it into clothing for ourselves. And I actually do knit. I love to knit and make hats and scarves and things. So that's something that's really interesting to me. But we're going to read Baa Baa Black Sheep. And it says, as told and illustrated by Isa Trapani. Now I may be saying her name wrong, but she did not actually write this. She is retelling it. So I bet she adds some extra words to it. So here's our cover page. And you can see that the sheep is sitting in her chair in her house, and she's knitting and making something. I just think that's funny. And look, there's a family walking down the road. I guess that's probably the sheep's house there. It says, Baa Baa Black Sheep, have you any wool? Let me move myself a little bit. Have you any wool? Yes, sir, 3 bags full. 1 for the master and 1 for the dame. 1 for the little boy who lives down the lane. Baa Baa Black Sheep, have you any wool? Yes, sir, 3 bags full. Now, in this case, it says 1 for the master. So that would be the gentleman. He is, I guess, one way to think of a master would be like someone who owns the land or is the boss. 1 for the dame. The dame is the lady. And 1 for the little boy who lives down the lane. So if someone lives down the lane, they might live down the road from you. Baa Baa Black Sheep, have you any milk? Creamy, cold, and smooth as silk. We spilled our milk, now what will we do? Please fill our cups and we'll purr for you. Now, I think the lady who wrote the story added this verse. She's written extra. The first page was the original. Goodness no, my shelves are very bare. No, sir, none in there. So she didn't have milk. Who might have milk for the kittens? Maybe a cow? Baa Baa Black Sheep, have you any slop? I've just finished my last drop. I'll waste away if I don't eat soon. 1 nibble ought to hold me till noon. Now, slop is something that is fed to pigs. When I was a little girl, my dad would raise pigs, and we often bought pig feed at the farm store, but pigs love leftovers. And so my mom and dad had a slop bucket, and Dad would empty it every night. So when we would finish dinner or lunch or breakfast and there might be some scraps of leftovers, we would throw it all into the slop bucket. For example, if I didn't finish something I was eating, it would go in the slop bucket. Or if my mom was cooking with tomatoes or cucumbers and she had to chop off the ends or peel something, all the peelings and all the ends would go into that slop bucket, and the pigs loved it. It was their favorite. Silly pig, there is no slop in sight. No sir, not one bite. So the sheep has nothing for the pig. Ba ba, black sheep, have you any hay? Name your price and I will pay. I'd like to buy 2 bells, maybe 3. I'll get the money. Just wait and see. You know, we always had horses when I was little. I used to be in Saddle Club, and we would go to horse shows. And in the spring and the summer, when the grass is green in the fields, our horses would graze. They would eat the grass that was on the ground, and it would keep them fat and sassy and happy. But when the winter comes, the horses can't find green grass to eat. So usually during the summer sometime, the fields, the grasses would grow really, really tall. And my dad would drive the tractor around the field with a machine called a mower, and it would mow down those tall grasses. And the grass would be laying on the ground, and the sun would shine and it would dry it. And then you would go through with the tractor with a attachment on the back called a rake. It was a hay rake, and it would rake that big grass into long paths of grass. And then you would drive the tractor over with something called a baler, and that baler would scoop up that grass, and when it got inside the baler, it would squish it together into a big rectangular prism shape, look kind of like a box, and it would wrap little pieces of rope called twine around them. And then those big bales of hay with the twine around them would come out of the back of the baler, and they would sit down on the ground. When I was first learning to drive, my job during hay baling was to drive the truck. And I would drive the truck slowly, and the other people would follow me walking in the field, and they would pick up the hay bales and throw them into the truck so that they could be driven to the barn. But my dad used to say I always drove too fast, and I would get in a little bit of trouble. So that is what horses eat in the winter. You also give them horse feed or grain that is made specially for them, but they really do like hay. No, I don't have any hay for sale. No, sir, not one bale. Ba ba, black sheep, have you any bones? How my hungry belly groans. Dogs cannot live on dry food alone. Won't you please just toss me a bone? Oh, poor puppy. Do you think that the sheep is going to have a bone for him? Heavens, no, I have no bones for you. No, sir, none to chew. Ba ba, black sheep, have you any seed? Kindly help a friend in need. Early this morning, squirrels came by, knocked down my feeder, ate my supply. If you have a bird feeder, you know those squirrels love to eat the bird seed. No, I don't have any seed, my dear. No, sir, none in here. Ba ba, black sheep, have you any cheese? May I have some, pretty please? Crackers takes yucky after a while. A hunk of Swiss would sure make me smile. So he's asking for a type of cheese, Swiss cheese. Do you know what Swiss cheese is? That's the cheese that has all the holes in it. No, I don't have cheese of any kind. No, sir, none you'll find. All these animals keep coming to this poor sheep. Ba, black sheep, won't you tell us why? No is always your reply. A little kindness you've never shown. Too mean to give a poor dog a bone. Knit all day is all you ever do. Boo, boo, black sheep, shame on you. And they're all very angry with this little black sheep. Look at that dog's face. Look at the horse's face. Can you see how angry they look? They are very mad at this sheep. Ba, black sheep, what a great surprise. We cannot believe our eyes. We all assumed that you didn't care, that you were selfish and wouldn't share. Now we see, and wow, are we impressed? You gave that which you give best. So what did that sheep give all of them? What did she give all of the creatures? It looks like she's knitted the mittens. The kitten's got mittens. A hat for the pig. A sweater for the dog. Looks like she's given the horse a scarf. And what's the mouse got there? Oh, the mouse looks to be putting on a sweater. Well, of course, the sheep didn't have all those other things to give them. She's a sheep. But she has wool, and since she knows how to knit, she can make it into wonderful creations. And here, now they're all hanging out at her house. And they look so much happier, don't they? Ba, black sheep, have you any wool? Yes, sir, 3 bags full. When we have something special to give, we'll share with friends as long as we live. Ba, black sheep, have you any wool? Yes, sir, 3 bags full. It looks like now they're all bringing special gifts to the sheep for her kindnesses to them. And then just like the other book we read, this one also has the musical notes and the words to the song. I hope you enjoyed that. I love nursery rhymes. When I was a little girl, my mom would read them to me, and then when my nieces were tiny, we would read them to them until they memorized them. You're actually a better reader if you know nursery rhymes when you're little. It helps you to develop an ear for things that rhyme. And so reading nursery rhymes is actually very good for you. So I hope you enjoyed that, and I will talk to you soon.